Hello, welcome to TCG Scarab, and I'm going to be talking about the trading card game that I am currently working on today called Legends. And what this trading card game is it's a mix between Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! With some other aspects. I have taken quite fondly to the mechanics of Yu-Gi-Oh! As far as the trap card system goes, and I wanted to make that a lot more core element of my game than perhaps what Yu-Gi-Oh is doing. Because I wouldn't even say that it's probably more core; it's just as core as what Yu-Gi-Oh does. But instead of adding 1,000 different things, I want cards to be able to take up space and time, so you actually have to manage your overall cards more than just flying off the end of the field at a turn. So right now, there's only two different types of cards in my card game, and I do want there to be more. There's the creature card right here, which is what is going to be your deck face in general. You're never going to have more than one creature card per deck, but you are going to have these cards. These are effect cards. Effect cards allow you to play the game. They allow you to do whatever you need to do. And I'm going to break down what makes each card what in a moment after I explain to you the win condition of my game. And this is all still very much in beta, so most of these mechanics I have come down and I'm just like, yes, I want this in my game, and I'm probably going to be changing some of these very small. So there is a let's go over the win condition. Win condition is you have to win battle so many times until either you have drawn all of your treasure cards or your opponent has, and whoever drew their treasure cards first is going to be declared the victor. Think of the treasure cards like prize cards from Pokemon. Every time that you win combat, it doesn't matter if your opponent was attacking you and they lost combat, or you beat them on your turn. Whoever won gets to draw a treasure card. And I'm torn on that idea because I might make the treasure card pile a health pool instead. Where if you lose, you draw a treasure card. If you draw all your treasure cards, you lose because that helps prevent snowballing. But I digress. Um, let's break down the main parts of the card. This is going to be a full art variant of a card, is what I'm working on. And not all cards are going to have a full art variant, just some of them. And most of the, if not all of the, your face cards, your creature cards, I'm going to call them legend cards for now, is what your creatures are going to be. They are going to have all, if not most of them, are going to have a full art variant. And you can find their name broken down here. So this one's Will-O-Wisp. It's based on the Will-O-Wisp legend, I guess. And the effect is below it. And I'm trying to make as little lines as possible just to make sure everything looks good. But whenever you just make an opponent discard 2 cards in one turn, draw a card. So the more you make your opponent discard cards in a turn, the more you're going to be drawing. Not from your treasure pile, but just in general. And this number over here is determined by the combat stat. And right now I'm trying to keep all the Legends combat stats very similar to each other, just to prevent some cards from being better than others, so it's dictated by more effect and deck builds than the actual creature cards themselves, and that's what I'm looking for. Now, some cards do have synergy with Will-O-Wisp, but I'm not getting into that currently. So the next card that we're going to look into is going to be an effect card. This is Over Destruction, and this is what a standard card is going to look like. Now, I know the border seems rather thick, but that's going to be toned down once I actually get a print of it. I just went over where they're going to cut because I do plan on trying to get this printed eventually, and they gave me a framing format. You can get one of those over at the Game Crafters. That's where I got the frame format for mine, and I just went over on the frame just because that's what you're supposed to do. And this one's going to be a basic turn card. Now, there is a T next to a number. So that's how many turns this card is going to be staying on the field for 2 turns. And it decreases at the end of your turn only. Your opponent's cards decrease at the end of his turn. So if I play Over Destruction from my hand, at the end of my turn, the counter will go down to 1 time counter. That's what the T stands for, time counter. And at the end of my next turn, as soon as it hits 0, it will disappear. But it stays on the field for 2 turns. Now, the number over here, the +4, that is going to be a combat power. Unless stated otherwise, this is going to be a combat power. Your opponent may remove 2 face-up cards on their field. Now, this is a card that does have drawback to you because it's so strong. 4 in this game so far is a higher number. But it allows your opponents to get rid of 2 cards making space on their field because you're getting such a boost. And that's such a small amount of time to wait. So, but art's not finished, but I'm still working on everything. But that's fine. Homemade trading card games, don't have to have the best art, but this art's probably not going to stick with this card. Getting back. So the goal is to grab all the treasure cards, and as soon as you have obtained all your treasure cards, you win. That's still changing. Now, to go back to how to play cards, I'm going to go ahead and I don't have a field diagram yet, but I will be making that eventually. You're going to be able to play up to 5 treasure cards, or not treasure cards, my apologies. You're able to play 5 effect cards on your fields, and you can only have 5 at any given point. So you need to make sure that you're managing how many cards you have on your field. Only during your turn may you play from your hand. During your opponent's turn, you can only play any card that's face down on your field. And you may play face down cards anytime during your main phase, which is before combat and after your draw step. There is no second main phase, so plan accordingly. I know a lot of other games have a second main phase to prepare after you battle, but this is not here. So, and overall, I have been making sure to do a lot of work, and I've tested some cards. I have some cards that I've been working with, but I've yet to print any off, and this is the game I'm working on, and I have about 30 cards so far for it. And my end goal is to hit about 40 cards and put out a small set and a couple trial decks by either December or January. And I am fairly close to making a 2-player starter pack that has the exact same decks but 2 different legends. And I will be using that to get feedback and do some more testing myself. But I hope y'all enjoy this, and thank you for listening.